Hi, I'm Tanae Smith, and I'm talking about multicultural literature and why it is important to have it in our classrooms. I decided to talk about this because it's extremely important that we ask ourselves if what we are reading to our students is authentic, and we ask ourselves also, is the text that we're using authentic to the cultures we're trying to teach? I will provide handouts and books to look through, and I will also be giving examples of integrating those books into your classroom. I got the handout from an article about selecting appropriate Native American children's literature, but I kind of put my own little twist on it. The objective today is that teachers will be able to select authentic multicultural texts for their classrooms. So I had the handout that was given to me through an article, and I will go over that last. But some of the books that I went over is African American literature examples, which would be Knock Knock, Working Cotton, and The Day You Begin. And the integration that I chose was Working Cotton. I love that book. I love them all, but this book would be a good source to use for kids' grammar because there are frequent grammatical errors that happen within this story. And this book would serve as a book that could say what would be a proper way to say certain phrases or things, and it would really help with ESL learners as well. I teach a lot of the time by making mistakes in order for kids to be able to point out the errors, and this book would be something that I would do that with, and it would be a really good setup. I also gave 3 different websites that you could use that incorporate cotton, working cotton, and the phrase, how we use language constructs who we are as people, as cultures, and as society, Botello and Redmond. I think that's a fantastic quote because we want to incorporate those and be authentic. And I could intertwine the handout. Question 1 is, are the traditional settings authentic? So you can ask yourself about Working Cotton, The Day You Begin, or Knock Knock. So the next example would be Latino literature examples. I incorporated Book Fiesta, Too Many Tamales, Separate is Never Equal. And the Latino literature integration example is Too Many Tamales. That has always been my personal favorite book since I was young. I think that one thing I would love to do with my class or even my family is make tamales. And there are several videos. I listed 3 of them. And there are 2 videos in English and 1 video in Spanish, which I thought would be really cool to show your kids. I have a lot of Spanish speakers in my class, so it would let them be involved as well. And the quote I got from Abington Pitre is, as educators, we are challenged to enlighten our students to the diverse world in which they live, a world in which they expect to live responsible and productive lives. I think that is really important, and if we make tamales or do things that align with their culture, it'll just allow them to have a successful life. The next example is Native American literature examples. The first, Strawberries All Around Us, Black Bear, Red Fox. And the integration example would be, this would be a great way to bring families in that could tell their ancestor stories from long ago. It could be a wonderful sense of different cultural backgrounds. And Lopez Robertson said, family involvement in schools improves student self-esteem, enhances academic performance, and helps parents develop positive attitudes towards schools, which is huge and important. You can do a read aloud. There are so many awesome things that you could do. And some questions that you could ask about these texts, both the Native American and Latino texts, is the diversity of Native American cultures accurately presented, or is the traditional culture accurately portrayed? And those are just some questions to ask yourself as you're selecting books to make sure it's authentic. And the next category is Chinese American literature, and I chose to talk about Ling and Ting, not exactly the same, just because not every student is the same, not every adult is the same. So it would reach and teach not only students but adults as well. We all have something unique about ourselves, so this would be fun to have the students discover things that they have in common, but things that they are different. That are different, and they could retell them and have a retell activity or retell the story. And we could use props, and it would be a good way to incorporate retelling, which is really pivotal for elementary students. Our next category is disabilities and differences, which is Walk With Me, 6 Dots, and Tango Makes 3. And the book that I selected to talk about to integrate within the text is 6 Dots. I love 6 Dots. There's a handful of activities you could do here as well. One thing I think that would be awesome is making inventions, which I actually did with my class, and we talked about what we would like to invent, and it just opened their eyes to a whole new world and just allowed them to kind of see the world as limitless, and they just explored different avenues to help people, which was amazing. I found 5 websites. The first website included a wonderful introduction to multicultural literature, and it provided 40 books, which was awesome. And you could select, you could click on the hyperlinks, and it took you to the Amazon book. It kind of described the book, and it gave you an option to buy it, which would be great for your library. And the second one was a wonderful article about the multicultural literature, and it was a read for you as a teacher and for parents. Points out all the wonderful ways that multi-literature can benefit the students in our classroom, and it gave you evidence as to why it benefits them. It talked about goals, it talked about multicultural literature and the difficulties intertwined as well. And the third website I selected was, it talked about different activities and you can do in your classroom with your children at home or in your class, and this was awesome. It gave so many ideas, and there were 12 different cultures. You can select a country, and then once you pick that country, it gave you a lot of different opportunities and different hyperlinks that you could pick, and they also included religions and different genres, and it just had so much that you could do at home or in your class. The fourth website I selected was Scholastic, which is a personal favorite because the books tend to be a little less expensive, and it gave age levels, so you could address the first grade or second grade all the way to 9th grade or high school, just based on what you need, and you can select the book and it gives you more ideas, and it gives you what books that are related to the book that you selected, which I thought was pretty impressive. And the last website offered 50 multicultural books that you could choose from in your classroom, and they gave you links, and there was a podcast that you can listen to about multicultural literature and plenty of other resources incorporated within the website. And then below I have all the references that I used. I hope you can use this to understand multicultural literature a little more. Have a great day.